Hey folks, what's up? Is your boy Damage back again, once again, for something that I actually haven't done in a while, which is a live team building session. So, this is something that I haven't really done in a bit because I've mostly just been doing draft league content, but if you're not familiar with the series, I'm basically just making a team from scratch in to help up a dance performance, or TPDP for short, specifically in Bardo's Shard of Dreams extended mod, just for heads up. So, the thing about the series is that I see people in the TPDP community a lot, or I see people in the TPDP community ask something along these lines: how do I team build? So, what this series is just me recording myself, just thinking to myself out loud, maybe throwing out some tips of my own, and maybe you all watching this series could maybe just have a little bit of insight while I kind of just ramble to myself, because at the end of the day, that's what this series is that's what the series is, really. I'm kind of just talking over myself over and over, but maybe you guys watching this series can maybe, have some insight while I give, just give tips and whatnot. So, with that out of the way, so, the puppet that I'm going to, going to build around, for this week is, well, actually, before I start, I just want to say, this is a good piece of advice for like anyone that's just trying to figure out how do I start building a team in netplay. And the first piece of advice I will say is just pick a puppet and start from there. Like, the best way to start building a team is just decide what you want to have in your team. Like, what do you want first and foremost, and then just start from there. So, in this case, what I'm going to be building around is Defense Hecatia. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I decided to pick or build around this specifically. For starters, this actually it actually comes back to like, I remember when I was reacting to GamerCal reacting to my old tier list. Basically, he was talking about how this ability in general is just really underrated, and like he was talking about like how he was talking about how most of these puppets were rated pretty low in. I actually don't remember if I actually rated this thing, because I think I had this like as kind of like an unrated mod. Like, I didn't really give this thing a rating, but I remember like other people in the community were like rating this thing pretty poorly, and GamerCal had a lot of criticism to that, because he thought that this ability alone would make several puppets like just completely insane, and it's not hard to see why, because the ability simply reads: if the foe uses a switch out skill, they are essentially trapped for like a turn. And this is an ability that's not really seen in Pokemon, and has a really unique dynamic to it, because you can basically say that throughout Pokemon's history, aside from like arguably in ADV, trapping abilities have been met with a lot of disdain among the competitive Pokemon community, because trapping abilities essentially remove a core mechanic in the game, which is switching out, essentially. And basically, competitive Pokemon players didn't really like that there are these Pokemon that basically just removed a player's agency to basically do a mechanic that's in the game, which is very frustrating. It's why mons with Arena Trap / Shadow Tag, such as Dugtrio and Gothitelle, have been considered really frustrating to deal with for the most part. And while this trapping ability isn't as generic as Arena Trap, which basically just traps everything that's not grounded, or Shadow Tag, which basically just traps everything, this trapping ability is very unique in that it's kind of like Magnet Pull, but it works if a certain move is used against it. And the move in particular, and the conditions in play are very interesting, because This ability essentially traps someone if they're using a switch up move, and switch up moves are very prevalent in competitive Pokemon. In particularly 6v6, switch up moves have been very prevalent in that specific format, and this ability has been designed to um, punish said switch up moves. So, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure if this sort of ability. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure how this ability would be received in Pokemon because it's very unique. Like, I will say it's kind of funny. This game, Toe Puppet Dance Performance, has been out for like 6 years now, and even to this day, there is a design space which Game Freak hasn't really explored yet, and in the TPDP community, these puppets that have this ability have been mostly regarded as mostly just subpar because, to be frank, no one in this community aside myself has really broken this ability yet. Not only that, but the puppets in question aren't really that fantastic outside of this niche. Granted, you can say that this argument is sort of like a moot point, because Dugtrio without Arena Trap is just a shitmon. Gothitelle without Shadow Tag is just a shitmon. But because they have that trapping ability, they're suddenly amazing. And at the moment, no one has essentially broken this mechanic, or rather, how can I put this? No one has really gone out of their way in trying to break this mechanic or break this ability. If that makes sense, I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, I guess that's my take on the ability Restraint, if that makes sense. Now back to Defense Hecatia. Now, the reason why I wanted to build around Defense Hecatia as my Restrained puppet of choice is because I thought this kind of puppet would be the best way to, maybe, like, in my mind, this would be the best puppet to abuse this ability because it has the most means to basically take. How can I say this? This puppet has the most potential, or has the most potential to make use out of this ability because it has the most offensive presence out of all of these options, in that it could just kill stuff outright with its base 120 focus attack stat. And I believe, like, out of the restrained puppets we have available, it has the highest attack stat, second to Extra Kasen in 110, and then there's also Defense Yukari at 105 special attack. So yeah, I basically just wanted to try to see if I can, like, make something work with Defense Hecatia, and I think I have, like, an interesting idea in mind already, but I'll use something that I actually haven't used in a while, which is Google Docs, so that maybe I could try to explain my thoughts maybe as best as possible. So let's see. So the goal of this video is to build around Defense Hecatia. And I think I already have what in mind, like what I want to do with this, but before I get ahead of myself, I just want to, like, go through this thing's move pool and see what it has. It does have Stealth Trap, which is the most notable move out of these options. Stealth Trap is really nice to have. It has Stab Knockoff, which is nice. EQ is pretty cool as well. SD can be nice. A means of phasing in booing, which is pretty nice as well. Rock Polish is something that's a little bit notable because maybe with base 50 speed, maybe that could work. Although I feel like base 50 speed is too slow for Rock Polish in my opinion. I feel like base 60 would be sufficient for Rock Polish. And then from there, you have Thermit as well, which is also kind of nice. Thermit is especially really cool here because mons that are usually immune to Thermit, which are fire types, are threatened by stab EQ, which is really significant. Um, Unfortunately, what is kind of concerning about a puppet of this sort of stat spread is it does have a really interesting defensive profile, most notably the 200 base special defense. However, it doesn't have access to recover, which is a little bit annoying. And what's also a little bit annoying about this thing's defensive profile is that being part dark, it is weak to steel, meaning that it is weak to the stealth trap or the stealth rocks of this game, which is a little bit annoying, but there are ways to compensate for that. And yeah, I think that's all that there is to say about Defense Hecatia's move pool. I will say, personally, I would have liked if this thing had access to wind coverage, because Earth and Dark is hardwalled by fighting types, and it would have been nice to have some sort of wind coverage to hit those types. Not only that, but one puppet that this thing would like to check is Extra Hina, because Extra Hina, or rather, this thing hardwalls Extra Hina stabs, and can trap Extra Hina as it U-turns. However, the problem with Extra Hina is that, or the problem with Defense Hecatia in this context is that it cannot really make use of the restraint proc on Extra Hina, aside from just hitting it with a stab knockoff, which will do about like 30 to it. Granted, it's still okay-ish to Extra Hina because she doesn't really have a good enough form of reliable recovery. However, if Extra Hina has access to Leech Seed, then Extra Hina can theoretically stall Defense Hecatia out, which is annoying, admittedly. So, there is that. But with that rambling in mind, so yeah, I think I've already decided like what I want to do with Defense Hecatia. First of all, I wanted to run Tingogeta, or Heavy Duty Boots, because I did notice that this thing has a rock weakness. I also want this thing to have rocks, because I think rocks is a nice move to have in Defense Hecatia. I would also want Dual Stab, which in this case would be EQ and Knockoff. And lastly, I would like Thermite, because I did say that Thermite plus EQ is a decent combination. In the sense that fire types are immune to Thermite, and EQ for the most part threatens them. There are some exceptions, such as Extra Hina and also Speed Utsuho. But yeah, this is essentially what I want. And you can ignore this. This was for another team that I bought, that I just made on the side. But yeah, what I want to build around is this. And holy shit, oh wow, this audio is really low. Holy crap. Okay, I think I'm going to put this up all the way. Maybe you guys can hear it. Why is it so low? Anyway, so yeah, this is what I want to build around. And to be frank, I'm not entirely sure like what I want first. Maybe because I think what I want for this thing is I want this to be like max HP, max attack. Because I think I would want to make the most use out of restraint by dealing as much damage to the thing I trap as much as possible. So I'm wondering if I want to I don't know if I want to add in offensive pieces that break through types that wall Defense Hecachia's stabs, or if I want to supplement Defense Hecachia's defensive profile with some other puppets that I have in mind here. I think what I want to do first and foremost. I think maybe what I want to do first is maybe just add in puppets I think I want to do this second bullet point first, which is adding in puppets that complement Defense Hecachia's typing. So I think first off, I think I want to cover for all of these as much as possible, which admittedly is going to be very hard to do because these are a lot of weaknesses that I have to cover for, but I'll try to make it work. Keyword try. Thankfully, I do have a site called, I'll put this site in the description below, but this is essentially a Japanese site that for the purposes of this video has a really useful search function that basically just allows me to search puppets based on type matchups. So, for example, in the context of what I'm trying to do here, I want a puppet that's resistant to nature, warped, steel, light, and fighting. Okay, and unfortunately, there aren't any results popping up. However, what I can do is adjust one of these settings to make it so the puppet will be neutral to grass, for example, instead of resisting it specifically. Let's see, and we do have some interesting options right off the jump. We have Aiden, Remelia, Mioi. Remelia is nice for spinning purposes. Aiden has access to toxic spikes, which is a very interesting prospect for me here. We have Extra Marasa here, which is a very interesting puppet of choice. However, my problem with Extra Marasa is that she doesn't really provide much to me as far as I'm aware. She doesn't really have any utility that she could provide in any capacity, so I think I'll pass on the Extra Marasa. Pyroleti could be nice for spinning, as well as maybe wish passing. Pyroleti is a very interesting option here, because providing a wish while I have Defense Hecatia, which lacks reliable recovery, would be interesting. However, the problem that I'm facing here is I'm not entirely sure what moveset I would want to Pyroleti. The best thing I would think of is Wish Protect, Lazy Mist, and Smash Spin. I'm not entirely sure if that's something that I would want, but it is something to note. Maybe I would replace Smash Spin for another utility move, and perhaps what I would do is put the spinner in my third slot, because I don't know if I would really want to I don't know if I want to shove in Wish and Smash Spin in the same moveset, but it is an option that I could run. I think at the moment, the option that I like here the most is actually Assist Aiden. Toxic Spikes provide a really interesting dynamic to this team structure, because what is nice about Toxic Spikes here is that, of course, poison types, or grounded poison types, absorb Toxic Spikes. However, actually, I think I'll lower down the desktop audio for a bit here. And okay, what was I saying? But grounded poison types usually absorb T-Spikes. However, what is interesting about having Defense Hecatia here is that Defense Hecatia threatens the grounded poisons, or most of them. There are some exceptions, such as some poison fighting, such as Extra Tay, but Defense Hecatia is nice here for the purposes of for the purposes of threatening the grounded poisons that would absorb the T-Spike. Anyway, now that we have Assist Aiden, I am still weak to Nature, Earth, and Wind, but perhaps it might be feasible to find puppets that resist this type combination while also having access to Smash Spin, because that is something that I still lack, unfortunately. Wait, not Water, Nature, Earth, and Wind. Extra Daiusei looks very promising here. Because Extra Daiusei has decent defensive stats and has access to Intimidate / Warning Shot, so off the bat, Extra Daiusei looks interesting. Defense Tokiko also looks interesting as well. Extra Aya also looks interesting because she is a bulkier option and has more means of not being passive. For example, she has access to Miasma, which is interesting. And that is all we have for these options. I think out of the options here, I unironically like Daiusei out of the options that we have here because, and this is something that I was thinking, is adding in puppets that are I was thinking about this second point here, adding in puppets that threaten opposing mons that wall the combination of Earth and Dark, and I was thinking of actually adding in an offensive wind rather than a defensive one. And I don't know if I exactly want to add in double wind to my party or to my team. However, Extra Daiusei adds in these resistances while still maintaining the wind type. And I actually, thinking about this more, I think I know what wind type I would like to add in next. However, for the purposes of going through this process, just so I could lead the audience, you the viewers, more towards this process, I think this is what I'm going to do. So I think first up, I'm just going to list this here. I'm adding in Assist Aiden. Okay. Okay. Now at this point, I would want an offensive wind type, and I think, and preferably, I would want a wind type that has a lot of breaking power. So what I would do in this case is I would go into, I would go into, the site again, and I would look for something that is wind type, and something that has either 120 or more base attack or 120 more special attack. So I think I'm going to go to this site first and just see my options here. We have Extra Yuko, which is actually kind of interesting. Power Kaneko is pretty nice as well because she does have that nice stab, Grass Double Edge and stab Brave Bird with 120 base attack. Power Sanyo is pretty nice as well because this thing is kind of like Gyarados. Power Ellie could be interesting, although I don't know if I have enough support to deal with opposing warp types. Maybe if I decide to add in this, maybe that'll be something to think about. Extra Yatsuhashi is a pretty interesting option as well, because not only is she part wind, but she's also part sound. Because sound is really nice for breaking through opposing fighting types that wall defensive Hecatia stabs. So Extra Yatsuhashi might be something that I might have to look into. Now I want to look over my special attacking options here, which we have Extra Kudami. We'll look through all of these first. Nemino is a very interesting prospect again, but similar to Power Ellie, I'm not entirely sure if I want to add Nemino because I don't know if I have enough support to handle warp types, and I don't know if I want to focus on that at the moment. Power Megamoo is also pretty interesting as well, because she does have the advent of Speed Boost. What I was really looking at, what I was initially thinking of is Extra Yumiko, because Yumiko is exceptionally really strong, because she has a really big, she has one of the bigger attack stats, both in special and physical, in 130. Not only that, but she has telescopic or compound eyes, and having access to compound eyes, focus blast, and hurricane is exceptionally fantastic in this team. So I think what I would like here is honestly maybe extra Yumiko. That being said, something like extra Yatahashi is also something to consider. But even something like, honestly, extra Nemino seems very interesting because she has a really nice speed stat of 115. Speed Kagero could be nice here as well. But extra Nemino does have a better special attack stat, and not only that, but she also has access to Steel Stab. And I don't really have a Steel type at the moment. And having access to Steel Stab would be nice. However, one thing I'm just realizing here is that extra Nemino, if I add an extra Nemino that still leaves me susceptible to a fighting weakness, that could be something that I could build around. But that is something to note, is that fighting weakness could be concerning. That being said, extra Nemino could be interesting because she is something that threatens opposing poisons, while at the same time being able to switch into opposing poisons because she is part steel. I have a very, very interesting decision I want to go through here. Because extra Yumiko is a very interesting prospect, but speed or extra Nemino is very interesting too. I'm not entirely sure what I would want to go for here. I think at the moment I want to go for extra Nemino. I think extra Nemino looks a little bit more promising here. Alright. However, there are some things that I'm going to have to consider now if I want to go with extra Nemino. First things first, I am going to need a little bit more extra support to deal with warp types, so I would want an additional I would want an offensive sound or fighting type. Not only that, but I would need a fighting resist because I am still a little bit more susceptible to fighting types. So let me think about what I could do here. It's a little... Frankly, I'm a little bit unsure of how I want to approach this team at this point. I think at the moment, I believe I would want a sound or a fighting type that's a very strong physical attacker. I think that's what I would want first. I think I'll look at sound types first and see what comes up. So Speed Miko, Power Murasa, Power Benben, Extra Satono, Extra Sagame, Extra Kaguya, Extra Kogasa, Power Merlin, Yatsuhashi, and Lily. Extra Satono could be interesting, because she could be like my Scarfer of the team. She also provides a fighting resist. This could knock out 2 birds in 1 stone, actually. I think I do like Extra Satono here. And if I decide to add an extra Satono, then I would just need... And then at this point, I would just need an electric resistance. And I would need an electric resistance that isn't weak to earth, steel, wind, fighting, and fire, and just has a strong offensive presence. This does give me double poison, but it might be fine here because it does give me poison types that don't share the same role. Alternatively, I think what I can add here is extra Kaguya. Extra Kaguya could be interesting because she offers a stronger offensive presence in the sense that she has a stronger attack stat. She has higher base power moves because she has access to Flare Blitz, and this could be a nice band puppet. But I would need some form of speed control that is resistant to fighting and electric, which is a little bit hard to cover, admittedly. Because if I were to go for extra Satano, I would just have to cover for electric, which is easier to cover. Power Marasa is also pretty interesting in general because Power Marasa gives me some form of speed control because not only is she a strong offensive presence with water and sound, or not only is she a pretty strong offensive presence and that she's a sound physical attacker with 120 base stat, but she also has priority in water 8 fake quick attack, which is pretty interesting. However, if I would go for Power Marasa, then I would undergo a very similar predicament with what's-her-face, Kaguya, in that I would need puppets that resist the combination of electric and fighting while also have a strong offensive presence, which admittedly is hard to cover for. But I want to look at my options here and see what comes up. Haramima, Gengetsu, Yamame, Mamizo. I could go for like a Scarf Speed Shinki, potentially. Oh yeah, one thing I just realized is that if I go for like Marasa or Kaguya, I would still need something that has good speed control. So I would want something that at the very least has like base 70 speed or more. Ellen, Shinki, Yuko, Gengetsu, Mayumi, Ellen, Tochiko. Yeah, and I don't think the options that are presented to me are the greatest, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not entirely a big fan of the options that are presented to me. Maybe a Scarf Power Yuko could be interesting, but because I'm not really liking the options that are presented to me, I think I would like to go for extra Satano here. And I would want... And let's see. Yeah, I would like extra Satano here because she provides both of these points in one stone, and not only that, but she's also a nice scarfer. So all I would really need is I would just need a good offensive presence that resists electric and isn't weak to any of these typings. That would be nice to round out this entire team. So I think what I would do here is... go through all of this, and just do a lot of this. Okay, so I want something that's that resists thunder, but is not weak to fire, fighting, earth, steel, wind, and is there anything else? Oh, I think that's it. Okay, so what are the options? What are the options that are available to me? There's Kaguya, there's Iku, there's Shinki, Misumaru, Mayumi, Ellen, Kokoro. Specs Power Kaguya could be kind of funny to round things out, maybe. Shinki could also be pretty interesting as well. Maybe just throw something like a Nasty Plot 3 moves Speed Shinki could be interesting. Maybe a Life Orb 3 attacks extra Mayumi could be interesting. Let me see the physical options that are available to... Oh, I could just go with Actually, I was gonna say I could go with Shizuha. Actually, wait, I can go with Shizuha. I could actually rock with maybe a Banded Shizuha. That could be nice to... That could actually be really nice, because not many people expect Banded from Darmanitan. They mostly expect Scarf. Power Mima could be nice, because that adds magic bounce to the table. Power Gengetsu could be nice for additional priority. Power Maida sounds kind of nice as well. I think what I like here the most out of these options is actually extra Shizuha. Having a banded extra Shizuha would be really nice here, I think. Scarf Satano, banded extra Shizuha, extra Nemono, extra Daiusei, assist Aiden, and defense Hecatia. That seems pretty nice here. Alright, I think what I'm gonna do here is, I'm unfortunately gonna have to cut this out, and then what I'm going to do really quickly is just record me, making the team on the save editor, and then just showing the team, later. But I'll cut this recording for the moment. Alright, I'm back. So, wait, what was I doing? Right. So, I was deciding the last member of the team, and initially I was thinking extra Shizuha because because I could run ban extra Shizuha, and she could be nice to deal a lot more damage in general. But upon further inspection of my team, I did say that I want more. I did say that I want more support for dealing with opposing warp types, because I did decide to add extra Nemono here. So because I have extra Nemono, I think I would actually want to add Power Maida. Because she also rounds out my team rather nicely in providing the electric resist while not being weak to anything else in the team. Not only that, but she is fighting type, which does deal with orbs as well. For that reason, I think I would like Power Maida to be the final member of the team. And I think with that in mind, I think that's the team. So I think what I actually want to do is I want to go, yeah, I'm just gonna go into my save editor and basically just make this team, live, and you guys can see, like, what I'm actually building. So, first off, I want extra Hecatia. I think what I want to do is go for, like, max HP, max attack with heavy-duty boots, because this thing is weak to... shit. This thing is weak to rocks. Right. Next is assist Aiden. Now the big question is, do I want this to be FizzDef or SpDef? I think what I'll do is, I'll make the Aiden FizzDef, and I'll make the Daiusei specially defensive. That's probably what I'll do. max HP, max def, max lefties. Smash spin. Max mana. Distortion bomb. And turn. Then we have extra Nemino. Closing stance. Straw doll. Max attack, max speed. Spinning air. Last slash. Give it rush attack, I guess, and change line. Yeah. Next, we have the Satoru. Scarf, max attack, max speed, and just do poison stream, high turn crush, turn, and lastly we have Meta. Power Meta. Maybe I'll give this a Sash, because it has some synergy with Final Form. Either Sash, or actually no, I was gonna say either Sash or Life Orb, but Nemino already has a Life Orb, so maybe to like synergize with. Actually, I wonder if I want to do like sub SD Slack. That could be cool. What I want to do that? I don't see why not, because otherwise it'd be like SD3 attacks with like Overtake Strike as the coverage. I might want to try that actually. Doesn't seem like a bad idea. Wait, what should I do? Wait. How do I want to do this again? Like, do I want to make it so the HP stat is divisible by 4? Oh, yeah, or is that only for, like, belly drum and stuff? Wait, what do I want to do for, like, HP when I do sub shit again? Do I have to make it divisible by 2? I may have to do, like, make it divisible by 4 plus 1? I forget. Okay, I guess that HP is fine, I think. Yeah, I guess it's probably fine like this. Let's do Magic Barrier, Strenuous Stance, CC, and Lightning Cut. Alright. Wait, no. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna try to cut all that out. This is the team in question. So just for a recap, we have a max HP, max attack, defense Hecatia, the thing that we were trying to build around. We have a physically defensive Assist Aiden for T spikes. We have a specially defensive extra value save for spin. We have a Life Orb, Magic Guard extra Nemino. We have a Scar first hit extra Satoru, and finally we have an SD sub SD Slack Power Meta, and with that, that's the team. And I'll see you guys in the next video where I try to put this team in action. Bye.